too fast. Gotta make the morning last. Kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun, feeling groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum, feeling groovy.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the bridge. And we have music this morning when it decides to work. So we did a little sound check and we made it. So today is season 6, episode 4. And our guest today is Hannah Forrester. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you.
And I'm going to let Sandy do some introductions because Hannah is her granddaughter. So, Sandy,
That's right.
why don't you introduce Hannah to us? And then, well, wait a minute. Why don't you give us our quote first and then introduce Hannah?
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. So this is by Michelle Obama. She said, for me, becoming isn't about arriving somewhere or achieving a certain aim. I see it instead as forward motion, a means of evolving, a way to reach continuously toward a better self. The journey doesn't end. As long as we're breathing, we're learning, right? Yeah. So Hannah Joy is exactly who her name says, is that she is a joy. And it's been awesome being her Grammy. And I wanted to have her come in and talk to us today because she was a homeschool kid and had amazing experiences. Her mama has still continues to homeschool with her younger siblings, and she has been very well prepared for what she's got going in her goals ahead of her. And she's going to share that with us. And I'm going to have her tell us about some of her hobbies or some of her passions that she has experienced over the years. And I got to just tell you that I liked having, when the kids' birthdays came around, I loved being able to have a one-on-one date with them. And I can't remember how old you were, Hanny, but she came up and stayed over with Grandma and Grandpa for a weekend, and we went to see a play together. And she had a little pink hat that she was wearing, and Grandma had her little black hat, and we were smoking it, man. We were so cool. And we went to see. You remember what the play was, kid? Was it?
It was
I
like,
can't remember for sure.
I forget what it was called. Something like Dancing in the Rain or was it Singing in the Rain?
Okay.
I forget, but
Yeah. The Lions main, or the main stage, put it on in Sumner, and we went to the auditorium there. We had a lovely time, and it stood in my memory of just a very special time with my girl.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, so Hanny, tell us to give us an overview of your experience as a homeschool kid.
oh boy. Yeah. Well, I've always been homeschooled. My parents started homeschooling with me. So I have 2 older siblings, and they did, I think, like 1st and 2nd grade in the public school. And then with more kids, they just realized homeschooling might be a better option. So they tried that. We do a co-op called Classical Conversations, where you meet one day a week, you have your classmates, you have a specific teacher, and then you have like your assigned books and everything. That day a week, you come discuss what you learned during the week. It's a highlight from my childhood. Like, I just love. We did it on Thursdays, and I just remember our CC days were the best. And so we did that. They had a lot of different creative outlets on it. So there was different semesters where focused a lot on like music stuff. And I think it was 11th, 10th grade, we did like music theory. And also during the younger years, all the art projects and everything as well. Yeah.
So you'd also pick some side classes. What did you do with those? What were the side classes outside of classical conversation?
I did a lot of art lessons. I think throughout most of the years I was doing art lessons on the side as well. And then also violin. So I did violin for many, many years. I only stopped those lessons, I think, about 2 years ago, just because of the other classes I was doing. It was getting too heavy, but sometimes I'll still pick it up and play it, and did different like youth group, like doing the music in youth group and whatnot. Let's see. And then I also did theater, did that for, I think I was in 4 plays. Those were definitely a highlight. Very fun. I love performing. Got to play lots of different roles, do different singing in that. And then I also did voice lessons on the side from that. Had different performances. I liked each performance. I kind of chose a different genre to sing. So one I do maybe more jazz, one I do more like a popular, like Adele song, you know. So that was always really fun. So a lot of different creative outlets for my different classes.
So you keep saying,
And where was your,
What was that?
go ahead. Where was your last where was your last performance?
I did it at our local county fair. So I sang a fun song.
Cool.
It was called Hypotheticals by Lake Street Dive. It's kind of a more jazzy song. So I sang that at the fair, and that was very fun. And it was sadly my last one with this teacher, since I am moving away, but it was really fun.
so you keep saying the kind of they were highlights. And so can you tell me the components of the classes you took? And I'm hearing a thread of some of the possible components, but I'm not going to put words in your mouth. What brought them into the forefront of being highlights for you?
I mean, when I think of just all the classes I've done and everything, definitely the people, of course. You know, I love my community and everything. But also that you get to kind of express in a different way when you're working with art or music or theater, that you don't really get to in just like your day-to-day life. You know, you don't get to be this dramatic, do these huge things. That's just odd. But when you're doing it in theater, it's really fun. You kind of get to really express this creativity and
when you say people, but I'm thinking, especially as you're talking about art and expression, there's an element of working in teams.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you've got a large family too, but there's, you know, you're going to have to give me input about nursing as improv, because you've got some experience in improv. If you were doing jazz and singing in, you know, worship teams and stuff, there's a lot of improv. And as you think of that experience, what would be one or two of the key things as you move from scripted into free form or improv? Can you think of some components of improv?
Like, what do you mean specifically?
Well, I think the biggest one is we like to use the word presence. Mm-hmm. So communication and really listening. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not really listening, you can't participate in improv, or you're going to just be off doing something else.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, you know, kind of communication, presence, anything else that you can think of?
I mean, I think a lot of just like thinking on your feet.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
The fast pace, definitely the presence is a big thing with that too, because you can't really think on your feet without that. But yeah.
Yeah. And high energy, and that's what's so fun about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. That's fascinating. So are you planning on doing more theater as you get into school, or are you going to have to just focus on school?
At the college, what's nice is you can audition and not be enrolled in the class. So I'm thinking about maybe auditioning, kind of testing it out and seeing. But I also don't know, like, workload wise, if I'm going to be able to. But I think it would definitely be fun to try to. And even trying to get plugged into a church down there, trying to even see if I can join the worship team or something like that to still be able to sing and whatnot. I think that would be a good option for sure.
Yeah, good. Sandy, you were going to.
So where are you going to? Where are you going to? Yeah, where are you going to school?
Yeah, I'm going to Eastern Washington University. It's about 6 hours away from my house up near Spokane. And then the first 2 years we'll be doing some pre-nursing prereqs. And then the last 2 years will be the nursing program. And after that is complete, I should receive my bachelor's in nursing. So that is the goal.
Cool. And who do you have in your life that might have influenced you
Oh, lots of people.
about nursing?
I mean, my grandpa.
Yeah.
He was an ER nurse, I believe. That
And
also, I think I would really like to pursue the ER field. I think that would be fun, the fast pace. Then I also have some aunts who work in the medical field. And then a couple other people in my community as well. So I'm surrounded by these medical professionals.
Well, Nana's a nurse too, correct? Your other grandma? Yeah.
Yeah. I know there's quite a few.
So we're going to be we're going to be taken care of in our old age.
Oh, you know it.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
So,
So how?
go ahead, Sandy.
Go ahead.
I know you were going to talk to her about some goal setting.
Yeah. So how did you go about? I know how organized you are. You have great organizational skills. Hannah, how did you come about setting goals for yourself for what you wanted to accomplish? How old are you right now?
I'm 17. I'll be 18 in a couple weeks, right before I leave to college.
Okay.
I think a lot of my goals have been just like lifelong goals I've had. I mean, of course, there's the ones that to, find a husband, to have kids, to grow a family. But I think also for a long time has been to pursue the medical field. At first it was, I want to be a doctor. And then I realized I don't want to go to school for 8 years. That does not sound fun. So then there's the nurse option, which they have so many different avenues you could pursue within that. And I also think a nurse is a really good mom job. Whether I decide to eventually, stay home with my kids or to work a couple days a week or whatever it might be, there's a lot of opportunities within there. I think that's helps, those goals really align, the family and the career is really important to me.
So, Hannah, as you have experience growing up, homeschooled at home, and you're number 3 in the lineup from, okay, and how many siblings underneath you?
There's 2, so I'm right in the middle of 5.
Okay. So tell me what you perceive to be one or two of your highest skills in leadership.
In leadership. Well, I think I find that in leadership roles, I can either be the leader or I can be one of several leaders. And
Okay.
there's a moment when you're with a group or you're leading that it's kind of, you have to decipher which one it's going to be, depending on who's around you and the other skill sets in the group.
Right.
So I think one of the skills is knowing when to lead, where to lead.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, knowing, having that sense to step up maybe when no one else is stepping up,
Mm-hmm.
or when you do shared leadership.
Yeah.
Very often, conflicting things can happen.
Mhm.
Talk to me about how you navigate conflict.
Well, I think communication is very important, and I find that I'm still learning that. I don't think I'm the best
Right.
communicator.
We all are.
Yeah. Um, I think that's a huge
well-
part. And then also, always taking the step back to see their side, their views, trying not to be narrow-minded, and just knowing that your way is not always right. It's not.
Yeah.
And so really taking a step back, looking at the different sides and having good communication, I think is really important.
Yeah.
Sue has said several times throughout when I've watched her coaching is you can either be right or you can have relationship, right?
Yeah.
You can either, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a trick, kid. We are all still working on learning how to communicate effectively with each other and being able to take a step back, like you said, and get a sense of what the other person is feeling, because we can become so caught up in our own, like you said, tunnel vision that we don't end up being empathetic toward other people's stance or thought process.
well, and you're stepping into a new realm now. I mean, you're going from your home environment and your home church and the people you've been working with, and different people pop up in new situations with, like, where did that come from, and why is that hitting me wrong,
Yeah.
and so you get that really is more about self-reflection and what in me is coming up rather than not blaming the other person. It's so easy in our society, especially, to either feel like we're the victim or to, think you're right, which is, the bully and the victim are really the same energy. The bully wants to be right, and the victim doesn't want to be wrong. And so, and we want to be empowered. We want to make decisions and go forward and not play bully victim. So, yeah,
Right.
that's it'll be interesting to see what your new world is going to be like with teachers and students and plays.
And it's scary, but also so exciting, that you
Absolutely.
get to
Right.
try out this whole new thing and meet all these new people.
You're
You'll do awesome. You'll do awesome. Right. Right. Well, and I came across examples of developmental transitions because that's part of what we're talking about is transitions. Is one of the first transition is entering adulthood, which is what you're doing. You're starting adulthood as a college student. There's midlife transitions and reassessment, retirement and adjusting to life post-career, and parenthood and evolving family dynamics. All of those have their place in our transitions as we, developmental transitions as we grow up as humans. How are you doing with the idea of transition? You're excited and you have some concerns. So what is the emotion about? How are you dealing with leaving home, the place that you've lived for the last 18 years? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of mixed emotions. Being homeschooled and having a lot of siblings, very like family-centered life. So quite the change, totally leaving and doing this. And then also my community, I've had most of the same friends since I was little, which is awesome and I love. But I'm also really excited to meet these new people and grow these new relationships. It's definitely a mix. There's a lot of like already missing them, and
Right.
yeah,
I know your mom is already. new.
But then there's also this like excitement of trying something new. And yeah, I'm just so excited. And even just all the classes and learning and all of these things, there's so many new things. And, in the end, it's okay to be scared about those things. I think any change is scary in the end. But no, I'm also just really excited.
It's a good blend. It's a good one.
So what have you been doing this summer to prep yourself for going to college? Because you've had to deal with the financial part of college. What have you been doing?
Well, I've been working a lot. I work as a medical assistant at a local urgent care. So different clinical and administrative tasks. So I've been working about 40 hours a week there, and saving as much as I can to go towards my tuition. And then I've also been really trying to make like my friends and family and everything a priority, because it is obviously I'll be back next summer, but it's just a big priority to make sure I get time with them and everything. And then there's also all the little things like the shopping or the making sure my classes are set up and all those too.
That's good. So it sounds like, Sandy was saying, you're very well organized and, you kind of plan for things. Have you got a methodology when things get rough? I'm thinking, what might be a strategy if you might get homesick?
I haven't thought about it a ton, but I would say definitely call.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put it in your ear, but it sometimes happens and it can surprise you.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think knowing who the people are that you can reach out to, calling them, communicating. You can always drive back for the weekend. Obviously, it's a lot of driving for a short weekend, but sometimes it's worth it,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't mean to put that in your mind, but you're jumping out of a very wonderful comfort zone. And change is something that always happens in our life. And thinking about what steps to take is very powerful. So, just having it in your pocket of, these are the people I'm going to call. Nowadays we at least can call, we can, have Facebook time, we can drive back, you're not in New York, that's a lot farther. And so that's sort of what we sometimes call change management. And it happens not only to you, but as you work with people in clinics and stuff, it happens to people. And so helping them strategize what might work for them and reaching out and having a strong support group is really the key. That's the key to good mental health, as they call it nowadays. But yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what is your...
So you're going to be trying to find a job when you get back over there to the college?
Yeah, I am. And just the other day, I was applying to a couple online. They have some on-campus jobs, different like cashier options or, administrative stuff. So, applied to some of those. I'm also kind of gonna play by ear. I don't know my workload fully, I know the classes I'm taking, but I don't know how much time they're gonna take or things like that. So I might get up there and decide I can only do a little bit of work, and
you don't want to overload yourself.
Yeah.
So what has been the best, well, I hate to say best, but really, really good experiences for you as besides your Thursday classes back in homeschool, growing up with a large family and being a homeschooler? What are maybe one or two of the best things that you remember and like?
Like within the homeschool or like outside of that?
Anything, whatever, anything within your realm of experiences. What were your couple favorites?
I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is just hanging out, specifically my older siblings, because I think we were at that age where we'd go out and play with a little wagon and, push each other around and play different games. I think that's like a huge memory in my mind that is just kind of like comforting in a way, And then there's also different like church events or Sunday school, things like that. I feel like, there's just some good relationships there and everything. Trying to think of a third thing. I don't know. I would just say CC again. I know I already mentioned that, but the Thursday classes, it's just a really core memory to me for my childhood and everything.
Well, and I think your theater has been very much an important part of your life too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you've been in 3 or 4 plays,
Mm-hmm.
and I think again, like you said, it gave you an avenue to be able to just blossom in a different way
Mm-hmm.
and connect from a drama part of your life,
Mm-hmm.
which, like you said, you can't go around being dramatic all your life.
Yeah.
But when you're in a theater situation,
I don't know
you
about
can
that, Sandy.
do that.
Yeah.
So I want to.
What were
I'm going to give you a little task, and you don't have to. You've got a big family, and a mom and a dad, and you got a grandma and grandpa at both sides. But I want you to pick 3 people out of your whole family-ish, and tell me who they are and what do you think their biggest leadership skill is.
Okay. First person I would say would be my mom. I think she's shown leadership in so many areas. We've hosted a lot of different community things. During the summer, we do something called Waffle Nights. That's Sunday evenings. We have a bunch of friends over. We make waffles. We play outdoor games. It's just a really good kind of community builder. And then she also led a lot of the CC homeschooling stuff.
Great. Community builders, one of the big ones. I love it.
Yeah. So I would say definitely her with that. I think that's a really big skill she has. And then I think Emerson. He is my older brother. He's 19. He started his own business. He has a CrossFit business. I think he's shown a lot of different leadership skills with that. Been pretty impressive. So I would definitely say him. And then I might have to think about the
I
third.
want to label it. I want to label it. Can I label it entrepreneurial?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay. All right. And who's your third?
My third person. Oh, I would definitely say my dad. I would say mostly just leadership of the family. I think he's been the best leader in different things. I mean, the work he's pursuing to be able to support us, and then him being a role model to all of us kids. I think that's a huge part of a leader. Yeah, I would definitely say he's.
Okay, so I'm going to lay a couple of labels here. I hear that maybe he was sort of a goal setter,
Mm-hmm.
and that he was a role model. So he lived what he preached, so to speak.
Yeah.
He was authentic, and genuine.
For sure.
Okay. All right.
Well, and I think one of the blessings, that you've gained out of your family is that you've watched a husband and wife be able to team well. Your mom and dad have really accomplished a lot in their life together, and they're very good at supporting each other. And I think that has been a really good example to you for what you probably want someday. When you decide to find a life partner, you're going to want someone that is going to align themselves with what your goals are, so that you can be productive and work together. And I think Jed and Angie have done an excellent job that way. I mean, I have just watched them grow and develop over the years, and they're an amazing couple.
One of the big things that teams talk about is that my boss, or the person in charge, has my back. They have my best. They want my best, the best for me. That doesn't mean steamrolling over me, but it does mean when something happens, you have my back. And that's a big one. It's kind of universal. And it sounds like you have a support group that does that. And I'm sure that you do the same for them. So, Sandy, did you have any other questions? Because I'm gonna move into the. You have any more?
I think we did I think we covered it pretty well. So I guess I would say one of the questions I would ask. So, what is your biggest looking forward to college, and what is your biggest challenge going for college? What would you say? So, in looking, if you were aligning or whatever, and you were saying, okay, so this is the thing that I'm not anxious, but just excited about, what is this going to look like? And then what is the thing you're looking forward to the most?
Yeah, I think for me, and I can see both sides actually with this, is the community aspect. I'm, so excited to grow my community and meet all these people and everything, but I'm also nervous and scared to meet people and to, so I think it's funny because it's like something I'm the most excited for, but also the most nervous for.
Sure.
Actually meeting people and introducing myself and, asking, hey, do you want to go study at the library? Like, things like that.
So there's one thing I want to say before I ask my final question. The skills that you have used from childhood on into adulthood, those skills are in your realm of personal leadership. That's who you are. You show up every day. And then you also have had small groups, and you've used those skills there. Well, you're just going into a bigger realm right now. And the same skills that you've honed and gotten good at are the skills you're going to use when you have a cast of thousands. They're exactly the same skills. So they're within you. Right. And just, move forward with joy.
Yeah.
So our final question is, what is one takeaway for you from our conversation today?
One takeaway. I think I like the way you put leadership. Because in my mind, sometimes I think of leadership as the one leader, the leader. But you've kind of mentioned leadership kind of just overall in life and the different skills that it brings up. I think that's one of my takeaways. And then also just thinking back on our conversation, I love how much our community was brought up and how important that is. And, the beauty and change and all of that. I think those aren't maybe brought up enough because they're such big parts in our lives.
Yeah. Oh, and they're very important. They should not be forgotten.
No.
Or used. Yeah. Sandy, what's a takeaway for you?
My takeaway is that I have been so blessed to be able to watch Hannah become such an amazing young woman. I'm excited about how her journey is going to go, and I couldn't be prouder.
Mhm.
So I get a claimer. And I love that. She's one of my kids.
Well, I think you might be part of her community, so not to worry.
Mhm.
Hannah, I love the fact you have experience in music and drama, and I'm going to actually send you the first article I wrote on it, and I want for you to give me feedback on how it all relates to nursing, because it's just sort
Yeah.
of, improv is a way of being for some of us, and it that makes you a great leader. All that practice is awesome. So, okay, so
Yeah, Hanny, we would love to have you come back again after you get your feet wet and you're out there in the middle of it. We would love to kind of do a progress report with you
Yeah, that'd
and
be
see how
great.
it's going.
For
that would
sure.
be wonderful, wonderful. So we're going to sign off now, and we want you to hang on just for a minute on the other side, okay? Thank
Okay.
you.